Hello, my name is Roshan Narayan, and thank you for joining us on In20. If you're watching us on YouTube, do
that back four and protect and pass the ball very, very simple. He is brilliant. If you put leg.
Thanks for joining us yet again right here on In20. If you're watching us on the Facebook page via the Rocket Post, thank you very much. And if you're watching us on a YouTube channel, do hit subscribe. And if you were watching our highlights on Twitter, you know this man was at one point of time the most hated man in Leeds. All because of his comment against Oliver Decor. And my God, Danny, they wanted you out of Leeds, like literally.
No,
yesterday.
They don't. They love me in Leeds. I'm a hero still. Don't worry about that. I didn't get it. I thought it was a compliment. It's like, you're brilliant against the big teams. In the Champions League, you're brilliant. In the Premier League against the big teams. Surely that's a compliment. No.
Yeah, he did go to AS Roma after that, if I remember right.
Well, exactly, and some players are just suit. Some players love the big occasion. How many times have we seen it? Cristiano Ronaldo, for one, loves the big occasion. So there you go, Ollie. I'm putting Ollie Decor in the same category as Cristiano Ronaldo.
Be specific, Cristiano at Manchester United. Then he evolved. You don't want any more hate. There were some fans who supported you, but majority were like going after you, going after me, and I'm like, whew, Oliver Decor should be knighted and made the mayor of Leeds. You guys have mayors or lords, or what do you have over there? Member of Parliament?
We have a bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the same thing you can say about having a bit of everything when it comes to describing Arsenal, because it started off good, then went a little bit bad, and it is full-blown ugly.
Did it start? And this is the thing. I keep hearing that, they've won 2 trophies. Well, let's be honest. The Community Shield does not count. Isn't it? Does Roy Keane, does Ryan Giggs, does Beckham, do they go, oh, come round to my house and I'm going to show you my trophy cabinet. Oh, look, here's the Community Shield. No, of course they don't. It's irrelevant to them.
But that being said, in this day and age, with all the money that's been pumped into football, a cup win is a cup win.
Yeah, but it's a Community Shield. It's a shield. It's not even a cup. That's the difference. But no, I was at the game yesterday. Arsenal were poor. Were really, really poor.
Okay, can you specify poor? Because I think a lot of people just categorize it into one thing as in saying poor. But if you can break it down.
In the first half, they had no intention of attacking whatsoever. They were 11 men behind the ball, all within 40 yards of their own goal, all beyond the centre circle in their own half. Very little attacking intention, if any. They got lucky with a penalty. Obviously a little bit of a mistake that got them that and got them back into it. Defending was really poor for both goals. Calvert-Lewin gets across Rob Holding for the first one. He's unlucky it comes off him, but he allows Calvert-Lewin to get across him. The header from Yerry Mina from the corner, just mannequins. Everybody just stood there. You've got the tallest player on the pitch, 6'4". Let me think. Who's a danger from a set piece? I'll tell you what. Let's give him a free header and see what he does. And I think Arsenal had, in the end, 3 shots on target, 2 shots on target, and 1 or 2 of those were in the last minute. That was how poor. Well, I didn't see. There was no energy. The work rate was poor. Didn't see a particular. We keep hearing about the way of playing, how much better that is. I just didn't see it.
Okay, is it Arteta? And now I'm just following what you have said. Trying to do too much too soon. Every time there's something that's not exactly working in his mind, he tries to change it. Similar to what Pep did when he first arrived at Man City.
Yeah, but he's had a year now, and he's had a couple of transfer windows. Should it not have evolved a little bit more by then? You've got good players in there. You've got World Cup winners. You've got Premier League strikers up there. Some of the highest scoring Premier League strikers. Aubameyang and people like that in there as well. You've got some good players. I said yesterday, if Ancelotti would have taken over Arsenal, would they be 14 games, 14 points? And if they were, would he be getting sacked this week? Probably yes, is the answer. So Mikel Arteta gets a little bit of grace because he's an Arsenal legend. He's a young coach. But sometimes if you're not good enough, you're not good enough.
So
You've got to get results quickly.
what did you just say? Young coach. So would you say that Unai Emery was more of a manager? Carlo Ancelotti is more of a manager?
Coach, manager. Unai Emery's got a track record, and has been successful and has been there, done it. Mourinho has a track record. Arsenal yesterday set up like Tottenham. It was like, we are going to defend, we are going to park the bus and we're not going to get beat. You can do that if you're Jose Mourinho, and you can play on the counter-attack because you have a track record that is proven to work, and you are second or third in the Premier League table. So you can do that if you're Jose Mourinho. When you're Mikel Arteta, did he go into the Arsenal interview and say, right, we are going to be the most defensive team on the planet. We're going to have no attacking intent. We're just going to sit back and we're going to play like a team in the bottom six, and we're just going to defend. And we've got Ozil, we've got Aubameyang, we've got Lacazette, we've got Pepe, we've got all this attacking talent, but we're not going to use it. Of course he didn't. So he's not getting the best out of his players. The game yesterday, Ancelotti, he's not asking his players to do anything that they can't do. He's just saying to his players, right, go and be the best of yourself. The two defenders that are playing out of position, Holgate on one side, is just saying, right, just be a defender. I'm not expecting you to be Seamus Coleman. I'm not expecting you to go forward, and whip crosses in. And the same with Godfrey on the other side. It's like, I understand you're playing out of position, but I don't expect you to be Luka Dean, whipping in set pieces, whipping in crosses. Be a good defender for me and do the simple things well and do your job. And that's all I want. And that's all he's asking. And he's just making it very, very simple. Arsenal seem at the moment to be overcomplicating it. I keep hearing about it's the way that they're playing. It's a project. Well, but what project is it? Are they going to play like Man City? And be open and attacking, which they certainly weren't yesterday, or what is the plan at Arsenal? I just don't know.
Final question on Arteta. There's a famous clip. I think it was Rio Ferdinand commentating on this scenario where the cameras are panning between both Pep and Arteta, and they were very similar in their gestures, their actions, and they were saying like they're trying to get the best out of it. Is it now finally time for Arteta to realize, hey, wait a minute, I spend a lot of time with Pep, but I've got to find my own way and my own project that'll work at Arsenal?
Of course. And people say that, Arteta was fabulous and a big influence at Manchester City, but he had some of the best players in the world to work with. He also had one of the best managers, coaches above him in the world, to do that. He's gone to Arsenal, and when things don't work, players not lose respect, but they lose a little bit of belief very, very quickly because there is no track record. We don't know if Arteta is going to be a fantastic coach. He might go on to be better than Pep. He might go on to be better than Mourinho, but we just don't know because he has no track record of saying, right, okay, we'll stick with this. Ancelotti does. He can say, right, I'm going to play like this. I've been there, seen it, done it. I understand we've got a few problems, but I know this works. Arteta is still finding his feet in management.
Frank Lampard finding his feet better in terms of off and running as a manager at Chelsea?
Yeah, definitely. I still think it's not easy for Chelsea with all the new signings that they've brought in. To get them to gel and work is not easy in any way, shape or form. There's 7 or 8 new players that have come into that Chelsea side. To get them to work instantly is not easy. Okay, they've lost a couple of games. No real surprise.
But you sense there's something there as compared to Arsenal, correct?
Oh, definitely. Look at the performances. Chelsea have a way of playing. We've seen what they want to do. In the first few games, it was all-out attack. And hang on a minute, this is not going to work because we're going to concede too many goals. And then they went, right, okay, let's be a little bit too defensive. And now they're starting to get the balance right. And I think, frankly, people keep criticising Kai Havertz. He's a quality player. He's very, very young. It takes time to settle in sometimes to get the best out of these players. Pulisic has been injured. I think he's still trying to work out his. People say he doesn't know his best team. He does. Well, he knows probably 7 or 8 of it. He's just trying to work out that dynamic, I think, in the front 3 to work out which one works best.
And are you happy with Mason in terms of his progress? You've been saying it from day one. He is the part. He is the player. And would you believe if I were to tell you, maybe just as a neutral fan, that yeah, he is a very important part in this Chelsea puzzle that's being built.
Yeah, of course. And I think sometimes, just because you're not scoring goals, getting all the headlines, doesn't mean that you're not doing a great job for the team. You have to. Everybody has to fulfil their role, and I think that's vitally important. And I think Chelsea have a very good squad of players, and it will settle down over the course. If they get top four again, that has to be considered, a successful season, and I think they probably will.
They got West Ham later on today. Easy 3 points. Oh, it's one of those games whereby it's a typical little scenario whereby they'll be caught wanting again.
No, West Ham are a difficult side to play against. David Moyes has got the team now pretty much where he wants it, very organised. He's even got Haller scoring goals as well. And Antonio's just signed a new deal. Not sure whether he'll be quite fit and quite ready. But they are a very difficult side to beat. Declan Rice is really starting to come to the fore now as well. He's putting in some really good performances. And again, David Moyes knows what he's doing. He's been given a little bit of time. West Ham now look solid, and they will be difficult to beat.
And could you imagine or remember the amount of hate that David Moyes got when he went back to West Ham? They were like, "Oh my God, it's another disaster waiting to happen." How different is his tenure here at West Ham as compared to his time, maybe say in Spain or England? How different is he?
I think he's the same manager. He's got the same principles. Of course, it was a big gamble when he went to Manchester United. So Alex Ferguson left him with a demoralised team and a depleted squad, in all honesty. And then they didn't give him the funds to get him players. Scrapping around last day of the transfer window to get Fellaini in. Was just desperation to get players in. He needed extra bodies. Spain is always a difficult job. We saw Gary Neville go there and have an absolute disaster. It's not always easy going to a different country with different values, different ways of playing, different language barriers, all those types of things. David Moyes is a very, very good manager. Tactically astute. I said, you look at what he did at Everton. Over what I think it was 10, 11 years. Yeah. If he'd have had Calvert-Lewin in his side, someone that's going to get you 20 goals a season, they'd have been in the top four every season. With a team that probably should have been finishing about mid-table because of his organisation, because of his work rate and everything else that he adds. So, again, I think, David Moyes, West Ham should think themselves fortunate that they've got a very, very good manager in David Moyes.
And everyone seems to forget that he ruled with an iron fist. Do you remember that?
Well, and as you should as manager sometimes. You can't do it all the time, but every now and then you have to make big, bold, tough decisions.
We spoke about Chelsea and West Ham. The one thing they have in common is the fact that, David Moyes did manage, against Manchester United. Frank Lampard was going toe-to-toe against them as a player and now manager. But his team have played a game extra over Manchester United, yet sit below. And the world, apart from Arteta, is still having a go at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, including us. They have 2 games in hand. If they do win it, Danny, they are almost up there. Top of the league, challenging again.
Almost. But it's that
almost
feeling.
Never was.
Poor performances in the Champions League. Very poor performance. Tactically poor as well as performances. And you can't keep winning 3-2 every week. You can't keep going behind. Sooner or later, your luck runs out. You can't be lucky and keep going, okay, we'll give you a head start. Their goal difference is +3 at the moment. That's it. That's not really good enough. I think Sheffield United managed to finish 7th, 8th, wherever they were last season, with a similar sort of goal difference. Their defence isn't good enough at the moment. They need to they're good going forward, but it's almost when he just says, just go and play. Just, the pressure's off. Just go and have a go at teams and let's see what happens. And that's often when they're 1-0 down, 2-0 down, whatever they are. So they need to be more solid.
But they seem to find answers whenever his head's on the chopping block, which is ridiculous because you think they're going to get hammered by any team or any ever other team, and then all of a sudden they'll just pull out a result. I can't make any sense of it.
Because there's some good players in their side, and when the players turn up and play, but if they can do it against PSG, against Red Bull in the first, Why are they not doing it every single week? That's where the criticism comes from. It's about expectations. If this was Fulham or Brighton or Crystal Palace, you'd say, okay, that's acceptable. But this is Manchester United. You've got a squad littered with international players. Are they all performing Are they performing to the best that they can? No. Is the answer, and that has to be partly down to the manager.
So the game against Leeds United.
It's a 3-1 win for Leeds all day long. Don't worry about that. Leeds give Manchester United an absolute schooling in how to work hard. No, I'm hoping, but it's. This game could be 7-7. Because neither team can defend very well. If they both just say, right, let's go and attack, it could be like a basketball game. It could be. I think it'll be very, very entertaining.
And the contrast in terms of managers, what your former team manager has accomplished in the game and what he's doing with Leeds is something ridiculous. Yeah,
it is. And again, he's in. Are Leeds in a better position than they should be with the players that they have? Yes, they're outperforming expectations. It's pretty much a championship side. Let's be honest. Some of the performances they've put in, some of the results. Some of those players were playing in League One as well. Would Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have gone into Leeds? Well, no, because we wouldn't have him. But would he have gone into Leeds and been able to do what Marcelo Bielsa's done? No, is the answer. But again, Marcelo Bielsa has a track record. He has a history. He has experience. He's been there, seen it, done it. He knows what works. People trusted him. Even when it's not quite working, people believe because he has that history. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a little bit like Arteta. They're still finding their feet. They're still trying to work out.
But you don't try and find your feet at Manchester United.
Well, you shouldn't do. But he's been given that opportunity to do that. I think it's going to be really interesting today because if you go player for player, Leeds versus Manchester United, if you were to pick a best 11, I'm not sure any of the Leeds players, maybe Calvin Phillips gets in the side. That would, as the holding midfield player. Would you disagree though, in terms of quality?
Listen, the next time I come to England, I would love to visit Leeds. If I'm going to agree with you, I might not be allowed in.
No. But the whole point is.
I know.
I'm talking. You have a point. On paper, if you went player for player, if you had to build a squad, you'd probably look at it and you'd probably go with most of the Man United players. But they are massively underperforming. So all credit to Leeds, and their team. They are overperforming at the moment. And that's all credit to themselves, to the work rate, the energy, the fitness levels they have. That's just how it is. So Leeds are doing better, much better than Manchester United at the minute because expectations.
Fair enough. So if at all it's a really bad score for Manchester United and a couple of more bad results, will they still keep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
It seems like they are. It's like it gets through we keep hearing about it's a long-term project, but it would be nice to know what the project is. It's like saying I'm going on a journey. Yeah, and the journey's brilliant, but you've got to have a sort of an idea of where you're going to end up or where you're going to go. You can't just go. We'd all love we can't. No one can travel anymore. The world's shut down. But we'd all love to just go to the airport and go. I'm just going to travel. I just get on this plane and I'll get on that plane and I'll get on that plane and I'm just going to see what happens and whatever. Life doesn't really work like that, does it? You have to have a bit more of a destination and a plan of how to get there.
Fair enough. One final question and then I'll let you go. Did Oliver Decor get in touch with you personally after the last week's show?
Yes, he did. He messaged me. There you go. You see the power of In20. By the way, are we going to be called In21 next year as we move into 21? I think we should. I
think that's fantastic. The show's concept is 20 minutes long, but thank you for that, Danny.
We're 21 minutes next year.
Why not? If there's a sponsor, why not? It's been a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Merry Christmas, by the way.
And to you too.
All right. Don't forget to catch all the highlights on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram account. Till the next time, take care.